Hello and welcome to another video. If you have exhausted all of the sharpened stick projects, you've made a Ted steak, you've made skewers for toasting marshmallows, you might have made some elder beads, and you're struggling where to go next with your projects, particularly with older children, then this may well be the activity for you. So we are going to be looking at making a knife. Now, depending on the age group, depending on your setting and everything else, you may want to make this a butter knife, or if you're working with a homemade crowd who don't mind children taking home something slightly more pointy, then making a scale version of a Mora knife is a pretty nice activity. This really engages those older children and something that's fun to make and teaches a whole range of skills. So that's what we're going to dive into today, how to make a knife. So the first thing we're going to need for our project is going to be some nice long straight round wood. So hazel is my favorite for this kind of craft project, as it grows in abundance and you get nice straight lengths and with few knots. Now, depending on the amount of time you have, this might be something that you can get the children involved with, coppicing some hazel. What we're going to do is we probably want a piece about thumb thickness. So I'm just going to take it off down here. And then up at the top here. Then we have a piece that we can probably get, I'd say something like 5 or 6 knives out of. And then all we're going to do is we're going to cut it down to size about half the length of a saw. You want it nice and long, so there's something to hold on to. So I'm just going to cut it about that half saw's length. If you've got a sawhorse, this works great. It's great to use that. And then we have our piece. It's got a bit of a curve to it, but we can work that into the handle and it should be okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to decide how long our handle is going to be and how long the knife blade. So if you hold the end of the knife, basically you want the piece that has all of the knots to be in the handle if you do have knots on it. And then we can estimate and make a mark about there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a little valley all the way around with a stop cut. So this is a great thing to teach if you haven't already taught it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to press the knife in. You can get them to do this on a wooden chopping block, something else. And you just go rock it backwards and forwards. You can also use a small mallet or similar, and you just go make a line, cutting the fibers all the way around the piece. Then we're going to use a thumb push to just take away some of the material either side. As I say, we want a bit of a valley in between that'll clearly differentiate where the blade is and where the handle is. And the way I teach a thumb push is you point your holding hand's thumb right where you want to cut. You lift up your thumb, you put the knife blade underneath, and then you just go push on the back. So you're just using your thumb. Your right hand or your dominant hand isn't applying any pressure there, it's just holding the knife. If the bits don't pop off straight away, what we can do is we can take our knife blade back, rock it backwards and forwards. And just go work our way around, make a cut in and around. So what we'll end up with is a kind of cone shape, so it's flat at the top, and then we're just going to come to this top portion and we're just going to carve back down towards the center again. So there we go, we have our handle over here, we have our little wedge valley there, middle, and then we're just going to start carving the blade in this direction. So what we do for that is we're going to just choose a plane, and we're just going to move the knife down in one cut, just straight down, but keep it level. We can hold it like this. All we're doing is we're not moving it around the stick at all, we are just going straight down the middle. You can see we're just creating that D-shaped profile. Now we want to keep going until we're just a little bit short of that center pith there, the heartwood right in the center. And then once we've taken off enough one side, what we want to do is we want to create a parallel cut. So it's going to come in exactly parallel. So we just want to create two parallel surfaces, so we'll have a flat edge on this side and a flat edge on that side. Now if you have any knots in your piece like that, just use the thumb push, take little movements, and we're just going to gently chip away at it. And then we can continue, so trying to get as parallel as possible. See, it's starting to develop there. Okay, keep going, because we want this decently thin. There we go. So now we have the main blade set up. So we've got a thin. At this point we want to decide which is going to be the top and which is going to be the bottom. So I'm going to say this side is going to be the bottom edge knife. And what I'm going to do is I'm now going to come at a 45-degree angle straight down the side there. I'm just going to take that corner off. So what we're doing is we're gradually bringing those two sides to an edge. This is all about developing that consistency in your cuts. And then we can bring it over this side. We can come in until we've created our pentagon shape here. So we've got our blade at the top there, we've got the spine here. So if I flip it over, it'll probably be a bit easier. See, there we go. So what we want to look at now is forming the edge here. Now if I wasn't allowed to make a point on this, I would curve it inwards and make a kind of a rounded edge, which is what I'm going to do now. If you want a point, all you need to do is come straight up at an angle from there to there. Just going to take little chunks. Now if we want to be able to spread with this, we're probably going to need it to be a little bit thinner. Going to keep working that. Then we can keep rounding those edges. It's a great way to bring in the thumb push again and just teach a little bit of control. Okay, as you can see, we're a little bit tapered from the bottom there to the top. So I'm just going to take a little bit extra off here. A little bit extra on this side, a little bit harder with the knot right there. So there we go, that is pretty much a basic knife design. Now we can add some more detail to it. So what we can do is, if we take off the bark on either side of the handle, then we can burn in or write in names, draw some leaves or patterns onto that. We can also create a nicer finish to the end. If we bring both of our knuckles together and then thumb on the back, and we can just chamfer the edge all the way around, give us a nicer finish on the knife. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this little knot off here, because it doesn't quite sit right in your hand. And there we go. That's one knife complete. It is definitely doable within your normal kind of 2-hour session. Older kids, goes a whole lot faster, goes a whole lot easier. They have the strength to really push through to get the knife thinned down quickly. Younger kids may well take a bit longer, but it's all about starting to build that muscle strength, building that coordination, and this really starts incorporating some finer bits of carving before we get into something like spoons and more complicated. So if you are interested in more activity ideas and so on, I have a list of my 20 all-time favorite forest school and bushcraft style activities. I'll leave a link to that down below. It's a free PDF, just gives you a little bit of overview of some of the sessions that have done really well at my homemade sessions over the years, and things that I've found children just love. So check that out in the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to make the most of every day, and I'll see you in the next video.